ketchup, makeup, and a little butt. It's probably like that, all mixed up.
And that's
That's
the Trump formula.
And if you think the ketchup story is a bit off, Trump apparently did stuff like this all the time. Melania also has to wipe things off the wall after their annual Mar-a-Lago penetration.
What if I told you Donald Trump's latest meltdown wasn't about Chelsea Handler at all? Stick around as we unpack Adam Kinzinger's jaw-dropping revelation that might just explain why Trump's infamous tantrums smell as bad as they sound. Literally. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now, back to the video. Imagine saying something about Melania Trump so sharp that it sends Donald spiraling into one of his classic outbursts. Well, comedian Chelsea Handler didn't just imagine it, she actually did it live on air.
Trump sat back down and patiently waited for his car to arrive at the White House. Just kidding. Of course, that's not what he did. And I remember going, oh, you're not nearly as disgusting as I thought you were. Sadly, there is no footage of Trump grabbing the wheel, but I imagine it would look something like this.
During her recent appearance, she took aim at Melania in the unique way only Chelsea can. Unapologetically bold, full of sarcasm, and just a little too real. The revelation she shared about Melania, that the former First Lady only smiled in public twice during her husband's entire presidency, and one of those times was when she was handing Jill Biden the White House keys. It was barely a mic drop by Handler's usual standards, but boy, did it light the orange fuse.
Melania also has to wipe things off the wall after their annual Mar-a-Lago penetration. I met him once. He came up to me at a restaurant in Los Angeles. I forget what the name of the restaurant was, probably because I was drinking that night. And And if you think the ketchup story is a bit off, Trump apparently did stuff like this all the time.
Trump's response to Chelsea's comments didn't quietly simmer in the background. He jumped straight onto Truth Social to furiously post an incomprehensible string of words that made even his usual rants feel tame. His posts, calling Handler a no-talent loser and a washed-up has-been.
Do you trust Donald Trump? I mean, people need to really ask themselves, you're saying they don't trust Hillary Clinton. That doesn't necessarily mean they trust Donald Trump.
And, and that was it. That was the last time I saw him.
You can't trust that guy. I mean, he's not a regular person. He doesn't know what's going on in middle-class America.
Seemed like typical Trump bravado until he took it further. Trump circled right back to praising Melania like she was the poster child of grace and elegance, the modern Jackie O of his imagination. The rant spiraled so badly, even MAGA faithfuls were wondering, wait, Chelsea said what, and he's this mad about it? Of course, Handler thrives on making folks uncomfortable, and this wasn't her first jab at Melania. Her comedies always had a playful ruthlessness to it, but this time her words carried extra weight. By framing Melania as disinterested and ready to bolt, she didn't just mock the former First Lady, she dug into Trump's ego like a jackhammer. Trump's insecurity thrives on convincing the world he's the perfect dad, husband, and billionaire superhero all rolled into one. Is it really surprising he unraveled because of a joke spotlighting those cracks? But here's the funny part. His meltdown might not have been about Chelsea's roast at all.
Well, nothing's messier than Donald Trump. I mean, that's a hot mess situation. That's hotmess.com. I mean, we can never, we're going to move backwards.
Oh, I mean, he can't possibly really be trying to be elected to become president. That doesn't make any sense. After Barack Obama?
That's not an option. In this day and age, you only can move forward. It's a different world. You can't reform in the way that he's talking about or...
Sources suggest it was a much stinkier problem lurking backstage, something Adam Kinzinger exposed and folks close to Trump desperately hoped he'd keep quiet. Let's just say, this story reeks. What if Trump's latest fit wasn't even about Chelsea Handler's remarks, but something much smellier? Enter Adam Kinzinger, who just dropped one of the most bizarre and cringe-worthy details we've heard about Trump yet. The man apparently smells worse than his Twitter history.
Were you surprised that at the vitriol that was directed at you?
No, because that's what he does.
I'm genuinely surprised how people close to Trump haven't talked about the odor. It's truly something to behold. Wear a mask if you can.
he's built a cult. He's really built a cult of personality. And when you go after the leader of a cult, it's almost like going after somebody's religion.
According to Kinzinger, people close to Trump quietly complained about his baffling hygiene habits. And let's just say, this isn't the kind of aroma anyone would bottle and sell. The first thing Kinzinger pointed out, Trump reportedly refuses to wear deodorant. That's right, a former president of the United States can't be bothered to swipe on a little stick of Old Spice. Combine that with his infamous fast food obsession, double cheeseburgers and Diet Cokes don't exactly scream fresh and clean.
Ketchup, makeup, and a little butt? It's probably like that, all mixed up.
And that's
That's
the Trump formula?
He's a faithless man, pretending to be righteous. He's a perpetrator who can't stop playing the victim.
And you've got a recipe for, well, a human air freshener emergency. Witnesses described a unique Trumpian cocktail of stale sweat, fried food grease, and a scent best compared to the sticky carpet of a musty casino. You know, the kind of smell you'd imagine if someone used a chicken nugget as cologne. It gets worse, though. Kinzinger claims that White House staff were so overwhelmed by the stench, some considered getting industrial air purifiers. Yes, industrial. Apparently, handling classified documents was nothing compared to handling Trump's aura of ode to despair. Staff members reportedly gagged during longer meetings, and rumor has it that even some of his closest allies found excuses to leave the room, blaming urgent phone calls, when, in reality, their noses just couldn't take it anymore. But here's the kicker. Trump's hygiene problem isn't just embarrassing, it says something deeper about the man. The lack of basic self-care reflects the same disregard for norms and decency he wore like a badge of honor. If he couldn't bother to clean himself up for the leader of the free world gig, imagine how little he cared about the responsibilities that actually required effort. Even his own allies have admitted off the record that these little failings, like neglecting deodorant or leaving ketchup stains everywhere, betray a man obsessed with appearances but incapable of maintaining even the most basic standards behind closed doors. And that maybe is what makes Kinzinger's revelation so politically juicy. It's not just funny, it highlights Trump's biggest vulnerability, that the perfect leader image he clings to is as fake as his spray tan. The real tragedy here isn't Chelsea's jab at Melania, or even the musty details from Kinzinger's hygiene expose. It's what all of this represents. Trump's cartoonish ego, his bubbling insecurities, and even his questionable cleanliness point to a larger issue. His decaying spectacle still commands the GOP. For a man obsessed with winning, he's become the political equivalent of a bad reality show. Messy, smelly, and stuck on reruns. So let's ask the obvious. If Trump can't even keep himself clean, how can anyone expect him to clean up the country? Stay tuned, because this show only gets uglier from here.